Welcome to Soul Smart. Hi, I'm Joanna Hennin, and this is Soul Smart, the podcast that explores the hidden side of success. You see, being successful isn't about always doing more. It's about being soul smart, using your intuition, spiritual connection, the law of attraction, and everything else you have access to as a powerful soul to create more of what you want. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Soul Smart podcast. I'm Joanna Hennin, and I have with me today a super inspiring woman, Michelle Childs. We just met really recently online, and I've been following your stuff now, Michelle. I've been kind of stalking you and because your story just really inspired me. So Michelle is the founder of BizMoms, a networking group for moms who are building their own businesses. And she's also an energy editing professional, helping women to permanently erase blocks to success. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all that crazy stuff.
So maybe just tell us a little bit more about yourself and anything you want to add to that introduction.
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me to come on here, which is super exciting. And it's just great that we connected through a group randomly, and then we've got so much in common, and we'd already been in another group. So it's totally the law of attraction, which is something that I am a massive, massive believer in, a massive advocate of. I really do believe the reason I'm sat here today is because of my destiny, and that just learning to trust in that what is for you won't go past you, and that you will be given divine, whatever you want to call it, guidance or signs. For me, that's probably been the biggest weight lifted off my shoulders when it comes to my business. It means that I don't stress as much now, because I'm like, no, let's just trust. Let's just trust. I say that a lot to my team, and they're like, oh. I'm like, no, we'll just trust that the right thing's going to happen, the right door will open, the right person will come in to help us. And I think when you can get to that point in your business, it just takes a lot of the pressure off.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And you totally have that trust energy about you, because funnily enough, when I was trying to see what to call this episode, and I haven't quite decided on the final title, but trust was in there. Yeah, so that really comes through in your journey, and just in the way you are, like that you have this immense trust that whatever's coming your way is the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it took a while to get to this point. Like 5 years ago, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know, much about any of all this stuff that I've learned over the last few years. And I just had this big vision that I didn't, at that point, I was just about to have my second child. I didn't want to have to go back to my job that I didn't enjoy. I knew I wanted to do something differently. And then I think it's then when you look back and you reflect on your journey, and I see all the things that have happened, all the doors that have opened, all the people that have come into my life, I can now look back and go, wow, yeah, there was no accidents there. There was no coincidences there. Everything happened for a reason. And that gives me now the confidence to trust that moving forward, that will be the same again.
Yeah. So I have lots of questions about this, but maybe just first tell us a little bit about that beginning, because I think that story of how BizMoms came to be. And just for our listeners who don't know, BizMoms is like crazy successful. I mean, how many networking groups do you have across the UK now?
We've got 90 now, all
90.
across the UK. Yeah, with lots more planned for 2018 already.
Wow. And it started with one, right? So just tell us that story. I would love to hear it again, because it's such an inspiration.
So basically I was working, I got made redundant when I was pregnant with my first son, ended up not being able to get back into that job that I really enjoyed, which is in sales and marketing. But the universe again helped me out, because really with a baby and the job that I was in, it wasn't going to work anyway. But I was kind of disillusioned, first time mother, that having a child wasn't going to change my life, and I was just going to go back to everything, and he was just going to sit quietly in the corner, and that was that. But as we all know, the minute he was born, my life changed, and I didn't want to go back to that full-time job. And luckily I had been made redundant. So I ended up working in a part-time job just because it fitted around our family. But it really put a cap on my lifestyle, our lifestyle as a family, the time we spent together, because I was working lots of evenings and weekends. but I didn't see that there was any other option for me. I believed you had to compromise. You work full-time job, compromise the time you spend with your family, but you've got a nice lifestyle, or you did what I did, take a part-time job and compromise on your lifestyle, but you get to spend the time with your children, which was more important to me. But then I was introduced to a business opportunity after about 3 years of doing that just totally blew my mind, is to think that, whoa, hang on a minute, you can work for yourself, have a nice lifestyle, and work flexibly around your family. This is a thing. Like, whoa, I'm going to do this. So that particular business opportunity didn't work out, but it reintroduced me into coaching, and the universe was on my side, because through my job I was actually able to do my coaching diploma, because the Welsh Assembly were actually paying for employees of Welsh businesses to become coaches, so they could coach through the management team.
Wow.
So I was able to do that. So, but I knew I didn't want to stay in that company, because unfortunately, as much as the high level management wanted us to coach, on the floor we weren't allowed to do it because we didn't have time, we didn't have the staff, and I was so frustrated. So anyway, I thought, I got pregnant with my second daughter, Isabella, who's just turned 4, and I thought, well, I tell you what, I will set up a business while I'm on maternity leave. That's good, got a baby, I'll just set up a business as well. It's all going to be fine and dandy.
Sorry, excuse me while I laugh.
I know, I've been very disillusioned at certain points in my life.
But I recognize it, just to make you feel better. I was completely the same before my son actually arrived.
So that was my plan. So I'd already started to do some business networking with my other business opportunity anyway. But like 5 years ago, this was now, if you wanted to go out and meet new people, you actually had to leave your front door and go outside. Like, social media has come on like phenomenally in the last 5 years. Like, I've been networking today, like, haven't left the house. Like, I've only got dressed because I had to take the kids to school. So 5 years ago, it wasn't quite as easy as that. Didn't even have a smartphone with a camera on it or anything, or access to social media on my phone or anything. So actually, to go out and meet new people and to build your business, you had to leave the house, which was fine, until I realised, oh, I'm going to have a baby soon, and I can't take my baby to all these business networkings at 7 o'clock in the morning, or go into evening meetings because I'll have a baby that needs feeding, or even in the daytime. It's just not practical. So at the time, I don't know, a flash of inspiration, I could set my own up, which you could take children to, because I couldn't find any that fitted the need. And it just kind of spiraled from there. The universe was pushing me down a certain path and showing me that this was where I was meant to be. And that's how it's led to us today.
I find that so amazing. And like, I often talk about the importance of taking that next step that feels right, even if you don't know where it's going, even if you don't know how it fits in, even if like logically it doesn't make any sense. And look, I mean, you're perfect example of that. I mean, just you set something up that really worked for you, and it grew into this massive thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I just found loads of other mums like me who were saying, we like totally get where you're coming from and we need help. So I thought, oh, well, I can help, I'll do that. And that's where it's all kind of stemmed from, really.
So what do you think were the factors of success? Like, looking back now, what do you think you did or paid attention to or didn't pay attention to? Like, why were you so successful with this? Like,
oh, I feel a bit emotional because it's really simple. It's so simple, but it's quite personal. I've just been myself. And up until the point where I started Biz Mums, I always felt totally lost. I didn't fit in anywhere. I never fitted in at school. I never fitted in any job that I was in. I never fitted in my community, in my town. I always was a little bit different. And I just thought it was just me being a bit weird. And then it was when I started to connect with all these other biz mums who were like completely on my wavelength, totally got me, totally loved me for everything that I was sharing. I was able to be me. I was able to be myself. I was able to talk about the things that I loved, and all these other people loved it too. And it's just like, wow. And so when you can find that thing and find your tribe, find your people, then it's a wonderful place to be. And I think that's been my biggest thing and I'm quite authentic and honest and open. I will say when I'm having a crap day, I will do things with my kids around climbing off me, and if that's it's taken. Thankfully now my youngest is 3 now, because when Izzy was 9 months, I got pregnant again. So the last 5 years have been a bit of a blur. But I've shared that whole journey, and people have seen the ups and the downs, and realised that you can run a business without being in a suit and being all professional. You can do it with a baby hanging off your arm or kids fighting in the background. There's quite a funny video that the biz mums always know. When I was doing a live in my car, and my baby was asleep in the one car seat, and the toddler had escaped out of her car seat. I was like sticking the fingers up the baby's nose. And the mums were watching the live going, "Oh, I can't watch. You need to turn around." What's going on in the background? Oh. But that's real life.
Oh my God, that's just priceless. I am so gonna need to go and look that up now.
Yeah.
So you say you're a law of attraction fan now. Did you know about the law of attraction back then? Like, were you doing all this stuff intentionally, or it was just like the right thing to do for you?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't doing it intentionally. I've read The Secret many years ago, and I've been aware of the law of attraction, but to be honest, I think it's not something that I'm consciously like working on all the time. I don't think you need to, do you?
No.
It's one of those things that you just need to do the right actions, whether you're consciously doing it or not, and focusing on the right things, and getting clear about what you want. I think that's the biggest thing.
I that's why I asked the question, because I think that's actually really important. Like, I often say that the law of attraction isn't something you learn, it's something you remember, and it happens around you no matter whether you're doing it consciously or not. So learning to do it consciously is actually quite empowering, because then you kind of take control of a lot of things. But really, all you need to focus on to build that success more easily is taking those next steps that feel right? Just like that, being yourself, as you say, being authentic and doing the things that feel right for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's it. If you get clear on your vision, your why, where you want to go, and know, right, this is, and the big part of it as well is I set out with my intention was to set up a coaching organisation. That's what I wanted to do. I never set out with the intention to set up a national networking organisation. That was never on the goal list. But my big goal was just to go back to my job, to have a business that's fitted flexibly around my family. And absolutely, Bisnom's ticked all those boxes for me. Yeah. So it's being flexible with your approach as well, isn't it? And just knowing, okay, this is what I want, but I'm open to however it's going to happen for me.
That's it. And so it's the flow.
Yeah, absolutely. And not being resistant to new things, or being resistant to anything that you might not think is right, because you've got to be open to opportunities. And if I hadn't have been with Biz Mums, then I wouldn't be sat here now talking to you. So.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, like, goodness, like, what if you had said at that point, no, like, I don't have time to start a new networking group. I have to set up this coaching association.
Yeah, well, that's it. Or just thought, oh, I can't do it because I can't get out there with my baby. That could have been easy for me to have done. Yeah. But I think I was in that place where I was like, nah, nothing's stopping me. I know I've got a bigger purpose, known it for a while. And it was just, I was out of my control. I just went off on autopilot.
Yeah, because you were open, right? So it wouldn't have. Yeah. So I think that's an amazing example of going with the flow and kind of the law of attraction at work.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's move on to the other side of your business, which is called energy editing. So for those people who don't know what that is, can you explain it for us? What is energy editing?
Yeah, so energy editing is a system for creating rapid change within your energy system. All of us suffer with upper limits. So you might recognize it. We all have upper limits in terms of our level of success that we're happy with, the amount of money that we're happy earning, happiness in relationships, and that's set by these thermostats of our beliefs, our surroundings, where we live, what we've experienced growing up. And what you can find is that you'll have blocks in your energy system that will trigger off if you might say, money is a great example, because you win a bit of money on a scratch card, or you get a bonus, or you get an extra client or something like that just tips you over that level of income that you're comfortable with. And what will happen? The washing machine will break down, you'll get a parking ticket, you'll just do something to sabotage yourself, you might get sick. In relationships, you're really happy, you'll coast along. This actually happened to me last week. Had a moment where I was like, Wednesday I think it was, just went, oh, and I shouldn't have jinxed it, like, oh, this is great, like everything's going really well, and Thursday night, boom, massive argument with my partner. Friday night was just like a massive storm of rubbish stuff that just kept coming, and I just totally tripped off my upper limit switch of how happy I could be.
Right.
I just, oh, this is nice and contented. So what we do with energy editing, though, is we identify what those blocks are. We use kinesiology, so muscle testing, to tap into your subconscious. It's very woo, but it's really, really cool. And I do it online. It's all through the quantum field, so I can muscle test using my leg and test up what your limiting thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and all that stuff that's going to be blocking you, and figuring out where it's coming from. And I think the most powerful thing for me since studying this is I had a lot of beliefs that I didn't know about myself because I was too busy telling myself all these stories all the time. So mindset work can be really great, and I teach a lot of that with the biz mums in terms of, you know, just understanding, be a detective of your thoughts when it comes to money. But a lot of the time, these subconscious things are so blocked and so far hidden away that we'll never understand them, never get clear on them by ourselves.
Yeah.
So stuff like this is super powerful.
So do you use it on yourself?
I do, yeah, definitely. I try and do a session at least once a month, if not a little bit more if I can, or just when I'm having a moment.
Yeah.
I'll just, like, you know, when you feel like your energy is off, you feel that kind of like, I just feel like a buzzy sort of anxiousness. So I'll go and I'll test and be like, right, what do I need to clear here? Or what's causing this when things come up? So, like, you know, I'll get someone will be a bit aggy about something, or, you know, something will go wrong. So I'll go and test just to say what's the block, what's causing this to come up. And you can work through and clear things around that as well, which is really handy.
Were you able to use it like what you were just saying, when you reached that limit of happiness that you could experience, and you had the argument?
Friday, yeah. As soon as all that stuff, I was like, right, what do I need to clear here?
And I mean, was it an actual happiness belief, just out of interest? Was it a belief about how happy you can be? Or I don't know if you want to share this, kind of putting you on the spot.
I can't remember. Let me see if I can find. I can't remember what it was now.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm just. It's just. I just had the thought that could be an interesting thing to see what it was about.
Yeah, let me see if I've written it down. What it was. I don't know where I wrote it all
So
down.
for those of you who are listening just on audio, Michelle's just I put her on the spot. She's just looking through her notebook.
No, I don't think I haven't got it written down in this one. I'm not sure, but no, it's it wouldn't. It I can't remember what it was to do with now.
But it wasn't like, you know, I don't believe I should be happier. Or
no, I don't think it was quite as simple as that. There was something else. I'm not 100% sure now, because I was doing some testing as well last week. So things like I've been attracting some like wrong people in to support me, so then that was manifested in the way that I was going about trying to attract people to me in my business. And it covered that I was scared that I was going to treat them in the same way, or that I was going to come across, you know, because I've been burned by these people. So I had to clear that belief that, you know, that's going to come across and they're going to feel the same way about me as I felt about these other people. And so even though you can work on your energy on stuff that's from your childhood, and a lot of the time it comes up from things from parents and childhood and bullying at school and relationships, sometimes it's stuff that's going on right now as well. So, you know, this work is so powerful. It's just to keep moving you forward, and it's definitely helped me to get to where I am today, for sure.
Yeah, and what I really like about it is that's why I kind of asked the question, you know, whether it was really about happiness, what you uncovered or not, because I find that really fascinating, because like we can, you know, everybody can like look up EFT videos on YouTube, like if you know what the problem is, right?
Absolutely.
Often you can't actually identify the problem because it's somewhere in your subconscious.
The problem is never about the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. You know, like people come to me all the time to work on money, and it always stems back to self-esteem and self-love, and an issue they might have had with the parents walked out on them, or an abusive partner and things like that. And they're like, oh, but I wanted to talk about money, not about this. I'm like, well, that's where it comes from, because it's all linked hugely. So it's really powerful, and a lot of the time people don't associate it with that. So it's really powerful work.
And but for energy editing, you have to hire a practitioner. Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
you can do yourself because you have to know kinesiology and all this stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you can work with a practitioner to do.
Yeah.
It's not something you can learn to do yourself. Yeah.
So, is there anything else that you do yourself on a regular basis to, like, energy wise, to support your growth?
Yes, it's self-care is really important. So I drink lots of water. That really helps. Try and lie flat for 10 minutes every day. That can be a really good thing to do because it helps to realign your energy system. I just find sometimes I just need to do that just to kind of whoosh and quiet, and because my life's quite hectic. I've got 3 children under 8, so when they're here it's noisy all the time. So when I get 10 minutes alone, I'm just like, yeah, that's nice. And I love to meditate. Something else that we were talking about last week when we spoke, wasn't it? It was about human design.
Yeah.
And for my human design, I'm a projector, so I'm very much in my head, and very much I need to just take that time and not be working and pushing, which again is something that I've developed a lot more this year. I would, if I was feeling stuck around something or something wasn't quite working, I would just keep forcing it. And this year what I've learned is to stop, to go away, just to go for a walk or meditate, or just go and play with the kids, or just switch my computer off and just leave it.
Yeah.
So much better, rather than just getting myself on this hamster wheel, because it's just not how I am. It should work in my alignment.
Yeah.
So again, understanding your human design is a really powerful thing to do as well.
Yeah. And for the listeners, we'll have a separate episode on human design, I think, in 2 episodes from now. So if you're listening at the time that this airs, then you'll have to wait a while. If you're listening later, then so that'll explain that. But basically, it's just a matter of learning to work with your strengths and your weaknesses as well. So kind of knowing yourself. It's a self-awareness thing. So learning to work, kind of not getting in your own way, like kind of learning to work with what's there, what naturally is there to work with, right?
Absolutely. It's all about being in alignment, because if you're not, you're just going to get resistance.
Yeah.
And that shows in your business, in your life, in how you feel. Like, my energy levels are so much better now that I don't do as much, because I was just trying to fight against things all the time. So yeah, it's really powerful once you can start to delve into all this magical stuff.
It is, right? I think that's why I run this podcast is because, like, I don't think we talk enough about the things behind the scenes of success. So we talk a lot about all the things we need to do, but we don't, like, I find it really fascinating to talk to people who are successful, who have built up something really successful, and to see what they do to support that success, right? To support themselves. And I mean, honestly, I just cannot believe that you have 3 young children and find the time to lie down for 10 minutes.
I have to for my sanity. That's the thing, isn't it? And it is self-care. Put yourself first. You got to.
That's commitment, man. That's. So do you do that every day? Is that I would be interested to know, like, what you do every day to in terms of energy work or law of attraction work or anything like that, to support your success or set yourself up. Like, do you have a morning routine? How does that work for you?
No, I should do. I want one, but no, I don't have a morning routine, because I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old normally, well, 3-year-old now and a 4-year-old in bed next to me either side. So my morning routine is trying to, if I can, peel myself out of bed before they wake up. It never happens, and getting them out to school. But that's my goal for the future. I'd love to say, yes, no, I get up and I do some yoga and I meditate, and then I write all my goals out, my gratitude, and I know what I should be doing. But no, I don't. But I think on a day-to-day basis, I take action a lot. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've done, is that I do. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out, but I am very much a do and then think afterwards. So if I want to do something, I'll just crack on and do it. And that's probably weighed out about 60-40 of how well that's gone. There's certain things when I do things and my team are like, what's she doing? Like, we haven't spoken about this yet. And I'm like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. And then they're asking me loads of questions like, well, what's the implications going to be on this, and this? I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about that. Sorry, guys. It's fine. So yeah, I think that just taking daily action and I'm a massive personal development fan. I try and read every day. That's probably one of the biggest things. Learning and just connecting with new people, new experiences.
Yeah.
I try and network every day and talk to somebody new every day.
I love that. I'm going to stop you there because that is so, I haven't actually heard that named as something to do every day. And I just think that your approach is super refreshing. So I just want to underline, first of all, that you have built up this amazing success with young children in the house and no morning routine. Right?
You don't need it.
You don't need it. If it doesn't work with your lifestyle and the things that you find important, it doesn't matter. It won't actually support your success. And so I think it's a huge thing. So right now, any of the people listening who are like beating themselves up for not having a morning routine, like let it go.
Yeah, it's fine. It's much more important to take action and get stuff done than be like thinking, right, I've got an hour, like what can I do? And I know all the self-care stuff, and it is important, but if you're in a position in your life where you haven't got that time to do that, then it's fine. And as long as you're moving forward, that's all that matters. And I know, when my children are a bit older and they do sleep in and I can get up before them, I will do all that lovely stuff because I enjoy it and I want to do it. But just for me in this period of my life, it's just not the right time.
No, and and I mean, you do other things to keep your energy high and aligned, right? So you're reading inspiring content every day. You're meeting or connecting with new people or one new person every day, and clearly that feeds you. So you are, doing other things and the energy editing when you need to, at least once a month, you are taking care of your energy. So I think it's just important to note that the energy piece is crazy, crazy, crazy important, but everybody needs to find their own way to do it.
Absolutely.
Right? Not everybody needs to get up at 5 a.m. and do it then before their children get out of bed. That doesn't work for everyone.
No, absolutely. I don't think there's any fixed way. You need to find in your own, so many people will say, right, this is the way to do something. This is, and I would say to people, just throw everything at it. Try everything. What works for you will stick. What you enjoy to do will stick, and that's fine. And you'll fathom your own way of doing things. And gosh, I've tried so much over the years, different things, and read all the books and got into the habits. Never got into the habits, but tried to. But again, though, once you get in further along in your business, you think, well, actually, I am achieving success without doing all of that stuff anyway. So it's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up on it because
because you're already aligned, right? So then that's just different for everybody. So I want to ask you, let's see, how do I phrase this? You've spoken and seen so many moms or women really, probably, I assume that your energy editing clients aren't all mothers, but it doesn't matter. But just so many women setting up businesses. Have you seen any patterns? Can you tell us what you think are the main blocks that people experience to their success? What are people not doing or doing not, I don't want to say wrong, but doing kind of in a way that isn't helpful to build that success? So basically, what's stopping most people? That's maybe a better way of phrasing that question.
I think the biggest thing that gets in people's way is worrying about other people and worrying about what other people are doing and worrying about, oh, well, what if so-and-so says this? Or a lot of the time with biz mums, I'll get people messaging me going, oh, well, there's someone else doing something similar to what I'm doing that comes to one of your meetings, so I don't think I should come. And I'm like, what? That's just ridiculous. No, you should come. It doesn't matter who's doing what or anything else. And I think people can get in their own way by trying to ask for permission too much and just worrying about, oh, well, I don't want to do that in case I upset somebody, or, and it comes back to that fear of wanting, not wanting to be unliked, and that innate kind of thing, thing that we've got, that we want to please everybody. Unfortunately, you can't, and you will upset people, and you will, I've lost count of the people that's happened to, and it's not because I've done anything wrong, it's more them than me. But I would never, I'm not going to hold back on what I'm doing in case other people don't like it. And it can be a big block, and it can be a big block. One of the we have these conversations a lot of biz mums. One of the biz mums was saying that she doesn't like to talk to the mums at school about what she does, because she feels like she's going to get judged, and she doesn't, if anyone asks her what she does for a living or what she does for a job, she just gets all like dead nervous. She's, well, I wouldn't say that if I worked at Tesco.
Yeah.
I just tell them.
Yeah.
But because of her own business, she feels really, blocked by it.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing. For sure.
I can totally relate to that. Like as a channel and someone who considers herself a spiritual teacher, I find it sometimes quite difficult to answer that question in kind of normal situations like school run or whatever, or dance class. Sometimes it is quite confronting because you're so different to what people normally choose.
It's not the norm, is it? And we are breaking free our mavericks, and that's really cool. But again, I help with the biz mums to manage that in terms of, I say, well, if you don't need to tell people, go into detail about your business, then don't. So I'll just work for myself at home, and that's it. And kind of and I always talk about as well with like family members, this can come up with a lot as well, is if your business comes up, it's going to cause you anxiety, it's just to put up a bubble around yourself. And if they start to become a little bit negative or a little bit like, I always feel like people don't get what I do, and that makes me feel bad. And that's not anything wrong, but I just feel bad about it because I'm trying to explain it, and they're just like, oh, I don't understand it. So I just put a bubble up and just send them love and just try and end the conversation as quickly as possible. That's it then. And it's fine.
Yeah, great. And have you seen any patterns in the energy editing work? Like, is there a belief that comes up over and over again, or is that quite personal?
It can be, but like I said, the main thing it comes back down to is self-belief and self-love. And people come to me all the time about money, and they can't understand where this is coming from, that it's to do with a past relationship because they were, really treated really badly and made to feel like they weren't good enough. And it's like, well, yeah, that's exactly what it's to do with, because if you don't feel good enough, you don't feel deserving of success and worthy of having money, then you're not going to be in that right energy for that. So that's definitely a big pattern for sure. It's funny when I do these things, people are like, that's not doing money though. Like, no, never is.
I was always like that too. Like, I remember like several years ago, I don't get as frustrated now because I guess I'm just more self-aware. But when I started my business, like I would hire all these people to help me with money beliefs, and I get really annoyed if they would bring it back to self-love. I was like, no, I don't want to talk about self-love. I want to talk about money.
Yeah, it's all connected.
So that was like, quite funny memories now. And just one last question. If you could download one belief into the minds of everybody on the planet, what would it be?
I can do this.
Awesome.
Mantra, definitely. Sure. Like, you can do this. You can do this. I can do this. We can all do it. Whatever we want to do. You've just got to get out of your own way. You've just got to just do the action, take the inspired action, and get clear on what you want. And boom, just start taking those steps, and you can do this.
You can do this. I agree. And you are testament to that, Michelle. You certainly did it and created this beautiful community, beautiful networking group. And that I just think it's so amazing to give, to like serve this need, to really serve that need so that that portion of the population also has support. I mean, that was clearly something that was really missing.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably another one of my biggest tips is be around positive people like you. Find those people. And as soon as you start to be involved in those people, that will just lift your energy all the time. That's again, I'm surrounded by these biz mums, albeit virtually 99% of the time. I'm going to a business meeting tomorrow, but I probably only go to like 2 a month now. Yeah. But I did online networking this morning with the biz mums. I'm always on Messenger talking to biz mums or on calls with biz mums and in the members group. So that just lifts my energy all the time. And whenever anything goes wrong for anybody, they post in there. And like on Friday, one of the girls had someone post on a live, really like it was silly actually, because she had a little girl in the background because her mum was sick and couldn't look after her. And the woman that was watching it was like, oh, it's really distracting that you've got your daughter sat in the background watching the TV. Really unnecessary comments. And 138 comments from the biz mums came in this thread of supporting her and saying like, it's fine, don't worry about it, we all loved it. And they were jumping on and commenting, and so just being around people who get it and support you and build you up when you have a rubbish day is vital. So yeah,
that's absolutely amazing. You're completely an inspiration. Thank you so much for coming on the Soul Smart podcast. Maybe just tell everyone where we can find you online.
Sure. So we've got the BizMums website, which is www.bizmums.biz. You can connect with me on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page, which is facebook.com Michelle Louise Child is my page. All my profiles on there too. And we've got a BizMums Facebook page. I also have my own website too, which is michellechilds.me. So you can connect with me on there as well. And that's got a little bit about my energy work and my membership club coaching that I do as well.
Excellent. So we'll put those. Yeah, we'll put those links in the show notes. Make sure you check Michelle out. Thank you so much again for being here. And listeners, thank you for listening to the Soul Smart podcast. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Soul Smart podcast. You can find more information about today's episode, including any links we mentioned, at joannahennon.com/blog. If you'd like to hang out with more women who are on the path to being more soul smart, join my free community, The Greatness Collective, at joannahennon.com/community. And lastly, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a quick review on iTunes. It only takes a moment and means a lot. Have a great day, and remember, hustle is overrated. Let your soul steer you to success and greatness.